We're now trying to disaggregate away from the food chain and move towards kind of wheat straw type feedstocks, sugarcane bagasse, which is a residue from producing sugar in Brazilian mills, and corn stover. And we recently produced a report that said the costs of producing it today are not competitive without subsidies with current ethanol costs from corn or from wheat. But by 2016, it'll be around 60 cents a litre, which would be competitive.
Harry, what exactly is the difference between this and the more traditional biofuels?
The absolute key difference is that this type of ethanol is made from non-food material. So you won't have that food versus fuel conflict that we saw in, kind of 2008 and 2009.
We were discussing this in the break. The science is kind of there. So they got the enzymes right. They know how to break this stuff down to create the ethanol. But your point is that we're now reaching a sort of tipping point where we can start to scale this stuff. If the subsidies are there, we can start to scale this stuff. And once you start scaling it, it becomes even more cost competitive, and you can start to withdraw some of the subsidies as time progresses.
That's absolutely spot on. Exactly. It's less of a scientific challenge now, and probably more of an engineering and scaling challenge. What we've seen is this particular type of ethanol produced at large demonstration scale plants. The next challenge is to move on to big, kind of almost refinery type scale projects.
Harry, when you talk about big refinery types, I mean, how big are we talking about?
Nowhere near the same size as oil refineries. We're talking probably around the 50 million gallon mark or kind of 75 million litre mark.
And who are the main players in this? Who are going to be the countries that benefit and the organisations that benefit as we start to move into this?
I mean, I think the US mandate, where you're incentivised to blend ethanol, is still the big kind of policy driver. Although a kind of surplus possible resource of bagasse in Brazil becomes very interesting in terms of producing it. And the main players probably are the enzyme companies, i.e. those guys with the ability to break out sugars from bagasse or wheat straw. So you're talking about the Novozymes, DuPonts, DSMs of this world.
And so it will get also a lot of traction here in Europe?
Certainly a lot of the scientific innovation has been from here in Europe. I think the plants will actually ultimately end up getting built in the US and Brazil to begin with.